Welcome, Westover family. I'm Tech Sergeant Kyle King from WNN, and this is your Channel 50 News. Now that the Patriot Wing is officially home to our first C5M model, which arrived at Westover on June 2nd of this year, we prepared to bid farewell to the last two A models in the entire Air Force fleet. One will be having its final flight the end of this month, headed to Official Air Force Museum at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. The good news is that this is not the end of an era, because it will proudly display Westover's tail stripe for all to see at the biggest Air Force museum in the country. The final will fly out in August to Travis Air Force Base Heritage Center. And for anyone who has a PT test coming up, just a reminder that the base gym has a complimentary personal trainer program. James Pachowski is the trainer, and you can contact him for information regarding one-on-one fitness consultation at james.pachowski@us.af.mil. Our Operations Group Commander Colonel Les Bradfield will be departing the end of this month as he heads down to Duke Field, Florida, where he will become the Wing Commander for the 919th Special Operations Wing. Congratulations on another step up in your Air Force leadership career, sir. Also this summer, another one of our senior leaders will be departing us. Colonel Dan Moore, who recently pinned on 06, will be heading to the Oklahoma City Air Logistics Center at Tinker Air Force Base as an individual mobilization augmentee. Gentlemen, we wish you both farewell, and we wish you, the viewer, well, as this will be the end of this month's broadcast. I'm Tech Sergeant King for WNN, thanking you for tuning in and reminding you to aim high.
Critical care patients were loaded in and out of trucks, C-17s, and helicopters by air medical evacuation airmen, while aerial porters and Marines worked to secure anything from litter storage units to Humvees for various flights. Federal Emergency Management Agency workers loaded a static aircraft. Even their service dog was there for training. Airmen trained in emergency communications and relayed flight patterns and patient movement information across the East Coast as they trained in emergency operations. It was a long and educational week for some 300 exercise players who participated in the Patriot Clipper 2017 exercise, which lasted from June 2nd through June 9th. This exercise included 83 flights carrying 134 simulated patients, 150 passengers, and 192 short tons of cargo. Westover airmen worked alongside aircraft and service members from 5 other bases, including Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, March Air Reserve Base, California, Keesler Air Force Base, Mississippi, Maxwell Gunter Air Force Base, Alabama, and the Connecticut National Guard. The Joint Operations exercise, which highlighted the skills of airmen from the 439th Air Medical Evacuation and Air Medical Staging Squadrons, the 42nd and 58th Aerial Port Squadrons, and the 439th Communications Squadron and several tenant units, consisted of simulated deployed operations in 3 locations: Westover, Joint Base Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and Plattsburgh International Airport, New York. In addition to support from multiple Air Force units, both Marines from units across the country and Connecticut Army National Guardsmen also participated. Every unit attending the exercise played a major part in supporting the operations. The Contingency Response Element, otherwise known as the CRE, which was made up of several airmen from several different units, worked to maintain communications across the 3 locations. Airmen working for the CRE have the technical skills to set up communication via secure and unsecure means anywhere in the world between 75 degrees north and 75 degrees south, as long as they have power, said Master Sergeant Jason Garvin, assigned to the CRE at Plattsburgh. This communication capability aided the 439th AES Airmen in relaying patient information and aircraft movements across the exercise. For Senior Airman Jose Mendez, 439th AES Radio Transmission Systems Technician, this year's exercise provided much better training on the equipment than in previous years. "It's better because we have more equipment than last year," said Mendez. "We get more training on setting up and being comfortable with the equipment." Meanwhile, airmen trained in air medical procedures, loading, caring for, and unloading, simulated critical care patients on C-17s, both on the ground and in flight. In flight, there were simulated incidents involving patients that the air medical airmen had to respond to, including a psychiatric patient attempting to start a fire and a patient having a seizure. The medical crew on the flight worked quickly and efficiently to stabilize the patients when incidents occurred. So quickly, in fact, it was hard to tell what was happening until after it was over. "The unexpected is going to happen eventually," said Senior Airman Brandon Mitchell, 439th AES, who worked as the lead medical technician on one of the flights, about the in-flight patient incidents. "This is what we trained for." Those who were not working to save lives on the aircraft actually had the opportunity to role-play as patients in flight. For Senior Airman Alyssa Lynch, assigned to the 439th ASTS, played a role of an ambulatory patient. Lynch said experiencing these things as a patient, such as going to the aircraft, being on the aircraft, and being unloaded from the aircraft, was excellent training for the medical technicians. Experiencing how the patient actually feels as a medical technician is great to see. "We see the other side, so we know how to better calm them," said Lynch. In addition to patient movement, aerial port airmen worked with Marines to load trucks and Humvees onto aircraft and secure them to be moved to other participating locations. For Senior Airman Jacob Nieves, a ramp technician assigned to the 58th Aerial Port Squadron, working together with the other branches and agencies was a lot of fun for the aerial port airmen. "Everybody has a different mentality and a different way of doing things," said Nieves. "You learn different ways of communicating and different ways of getting the job done. To an onlooker, it may have been difficult to determine what was going on and who belonged where, but for the members of the exercise, everything had run very smoothly. This was a lot of fun. We've got to do this more often," said Nieves. As airmen gain experience with exercises like Patriot Sands and Patriot Clipper, they grow more and more proficient in how to respond to real-world emergency situations. "You did tremendous things," said Colonel Howard Clock, 439th Airlift Wing Vice Commander, addressing participants during a hot wash June 9th. "This exercise was an amazing success, and our airmen even had a little bit of fun. Planners are already discussing next year's Patriot Clipper, scheduled to be held in the late summer to early fall of 2018. For ongoing coverage of the Patriot Clipper, visit Westover's Facebook page at facebook.com/westover.patriot.
Hello, I'm Major General Randy Ogden, Commander of 4th Air Force at March Air Reserve Base, California. I'm pleased to have visited with Westover's Patriot Wing airmen on this very special and historic weekend for this wing and base. This past Friday, Westover's renowned Air Force history added yet another chapter as the Patriot Wing took ownership of the first of 8 C-5M Super Galaxy airlifters. The 439th is the 4th unit to be equipped with this modernized strategic airlifter. These 8 modernized C-5s represent a significant Air Force investment in Westover Air Reserve Base and a confidence in our citizen airmen who operate and maintain these aircraft. And deservedly so. Your C-5 maintainers are among the best in the business. They've shown that time and time again, from Desert Storm to Iraqi freedom and on to today. The Patriot Wing's transition to the C-5M builds on the Wing's worldwide aircraft capability, which includes providing combat-ready forces to fly, fight, and win. This weekend also features a change of command as Brigadier General Jay Jensen departs for the Pentagon, and Colonel D. Scott Bull Durham takes over. The Patriot Wing's leadership continuity is very much intact. You are in good hands with Bull. He's already a seasoned commander of the 512th Airlift Wing at Dover Air Force Base, Delaware, which flies C-5s and C-17s. Jay and Chantel, I thank you for your commitment to leading this wing of dedicated airmen and civilians and wish you the best in D.C. To the members of the 439th, I thank you for the opportunity to visit this superb organization of citizen airmen. You're to be commended for your dedication to this country. Your steadfast commitment solidifies our total force combat readiness. You most recently embodied this endeavor when more than 250 of you deployed overseas to various locations in support of Operation Inherent Resolve. Believe me, the word traveled back here quickly about how our Air Force reservists were more than meeting the task while deployed in the desert. You won 2 Air Combat Command Awards, Historian of the Year, and Medium-Sized Airport Terminal Operations of the Year. I'm proud of this stellar performance from all of the Patriot Wing deployers. We live in demanding, fast-paced times. Please take care of the mission and take care of yourselves and your families. If you need help, ask. When a wingman just needs someone to talk to, be there to listen. So often there are those of us who simply want to be heard. Thank you for all you do. Go forth and conquer.
Today we are receiving our first C-5M upgraded model for our wing. The other ones that have been here have just been loaners from other bases so that maintenance and air crews can get training. I'm one of the head crew chiefs on, dedicated crew chiefs as we call them, on one of our 8 aircraft. I started here the entire time, been stationed here 26 plus years. For my whole career, this has been my home station, even though I've been deployed numerous times. The dedicated crew chief for this aircraft launched it out from Stewart for its voyage here. I really like the upgrades. Being able to see the whole evolution of the C-5 since I've been stationed here has been amazing. The new diagnostic systems really help maintenance and air crews keep our aircraft in mission capable status, so we provide a more reliable product to our ops group. Local residents are going to love it. You can't even hear it when it taxis right in front of you. I live right outside the James Street gate, and I can't hear the new engines when they're running. The old A-B models, you could hear those on a quiet night with the windows open.
We brought this in from Stewart and landed here today. I was one of the initial cadres that went down to Dover Air Force Base and did my training down there. So on this plane, I've got about a little over 100 hours on it now. But still, it was pretty exciting bringing in the first Westover tail. I've been here at Westover since 1997. So I've been an ARC here going on about 13 years now.
We're delivering the first C-5M model to Westover Air Force Base. So we'll be getting, this is one of 8 that we'll be getting over the next year and a half or so. Very excited and very privileged to be able to fly it. We flew it back from Stewart today, yep, and it was a beautiful flight, beautiful day for a flight. The M model, it's the Super Galaxy now, so that's the biggest difference, is that it says Super on the side of it, which is what I'm most excited about. But also, they have, the engines are really very much improved. The thrust is much greater. We're able to get to altitude much quicker, and the efficiency is actually much better as well. And so our range has also increased significantly. A real privilege. Hopefully you guys had some good photos coming around, got some good things there. We did just what we normally do, do some visual patterns here at Westover, good practice, and it's great to see one on the ramp. And excited over the next year or so to have all 8 tails coming here to Westover, so I'm excited about that. About 4 years now. I've been a part of the 337 for about 4 years. And flying, I flew the C5 Legacy models, both the A model and the B model, and now we're on to the M model here, so I'm just privileged to be able to fly all 3 types, and then hopefully when I'm older, I'll be able to say, back in my day when we flew the Legacy aircraft, so excited about that.
I started my adventure in the Air Force Reserve as a payload system operator.
Flight medic in the Air Force Reserve.
I'm a pilot for the Air Force Thunderbirds demonstration team.
We do a lot in a little bit of time, and we have to do it very efficiently.
It's a very exciting career.
The Reserve gave me the opportunity to learn something totally different from what I did.
The training in the Air Force Reserve is second to none.
The most exciting thing in the Air Force Reserve is to be able to travel.
It gave me the opportunity to go to college.
That was definitely a bonus.
And the Air Force Reserve gave me all those opportunities, and then even more.
Start your adventure in the Air Force Reserve.
Brigadier General Jay Jensen relinquished command of the 439th Airlift Wing to Colonel D. Scott Durham during a change of command ceremony June 4th on the base Ellipse. Presiding over the event was Major General Randy Ogden, 4th Air Force Commander, who has a history of involvement with the leadership of the base. In an opening speech, Ogden addressed the near 1,000 airmen in attendance by commending them on their hard work and saying that Westover's airmen are known as leaders in excellence. During the ceremony, Jensen said that his job leading the Patriot Wing was both memorable and rewarding, and was also one of the most challenging assignments he would have to leave. In his time as wing commander, beginning in March 2016, Jensen led the way in wing conversion from the C-5B to the C-5M Super Galaxy, and the base through a period that will forever impact its mission and history. Following the change of command, Jensen was appointed the Director of Air Force Reserve Programs and Requirements at the Pentagon. Before officially taking command, Durham placed the formation of near 1,000 airmen that stretched across the base ellipse at ease. It was a sight to see as the airmen moved out of the position of attention. According to Master Sergeant Joseph Glucker, base historian, there is no recent history of an Air Force change of command taking place on the base ellipse. The ellipse was constructed in 1940 and is one of the oldest remaining features from the original Westover landscape. In a brief welcome address, Durham said that he wanted to discuss 3 things with the airmen gathered before him: position, place, and time.
We've been engaged in combat war for the past 27 years. For my entire career, we've served with a purpose. We've done our jobs with professionalism and pride, through full funding and limited funding. During hot wars and cold wars, we continue to serve. Serving on active duty, serving in the Guard, serving in the reserves, we all serve.
In the position of leader, I will continue the good stewardship of Westover, said Durham. Its most important asset is the airmen who serve here. Regarding place and time, Durham said, "The place is Westover, and you'll make the hard seem easy. I'll honor and respect your time, and I will promise all of you I'll do my best."
And I want to thank all the men and women of the 439th. Thank you for all the hard work that you've put in thus far, and all the hard work that you're going to put in the future. I appreciate it, and I value your contribution.
Durham began as commander June 12th.
Welcome to VA Voices, a periodic news and information program for veterans, retirees, family members, as well as those serving in uniform and the general public. I am your host, Andre Bowser. I'm a public affairs officer for VA Central Western Massachusetts Healthcare System, as well as a public affairs officer in the U.S. Air Force Reserve. My guest today is Mr. Dennis Ramstein. He's an outreach lead for VA Central Western Massachusetts Healthcare System. Welcome, Mr. Ramstein.
Thank you for having me, Andre.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have a lot to talk about. We want to educate the public about outreach efforts at the VA. But first off, can we talk a little bit about your background in the military as a veteran?
Well, my military background goes a little further back than I like to think about these days. Back to 1980, I joined the Air Force as an aircraft mechanic. Spent my first 5 years in Germany.
Oh, really?
Transferred back to
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Kleine bisschen Deutsch.
Okay.
But transferred back to CONUS, cross-trained into an LGX field, logistics field, and that's how I finished out my career some years later.
Excellent. And just out of curiosity, does your background in logistics in the military help you in your outreach events, gathering large amounts of material and people and resources at these events? Do you find that you pull from that background?
Actually, I do. It's a big coordination effort to bring benefits and information to veterans into the community. So I basically take all the information that we have at the campus in Leeds out into the community and give it to the veterans at their place.
Absolutely. So speaking of these events, what's coming up in the near future and in the long term that we could maybe tout to the public, and then also route them to our website for more details?
Sure. We've got a couple of things in June. Early June, we have the Worcester Bravehearts opening game.
Okay, Bravehearts.
Yeah, that's right. Worcester is one of our primary markets for reaching veterans not yet enrolled in the VA healthcare system. Later in June, we'll also be in Pittsfield at the other end of our service area, where we'll do a Veterans Town Hall at the junior high school in that city.
And that's an opportunity for veterans to come out and to talk about issues that are on their mind, but also to learn about things happening at the VA. Is that how the Veteran Town Halls pan out?
Absolutely. It gives veterans a chance to speak with the leadership of our healthcare system, Mr. John Collins, who is our director at each one of these town hall meetings, and family members of veterans and veterans themselves come learn about what's going on in the VA and maybe even enroll into the healthcare system.
And I hear there's something pretty interesting coming up in July as well.
July, we're having a second Agent Orange Town Hall. This is going to be in Worcester County, actually in Leominster at the Doubletree there. It's a follow-on Agent Orange Town Hall information gathering effort following on for Greenfield.
So there was a Greenfield Agent Orange Veterans Town Hall, and this is specifically for veterans of the Vietnam era who were exposed to Agent Orange, and I imagine it can expand to those who may have been exposed to other chemicals as well. But so the format, am I mistaken that the VSO in Worcester is leading this and we're supporting?
He is. We try to partner with a significant VSO in each one of the areas.
Veteran Service Officer.
Yes, Veteran Service Officer, VSO. Right. In this case, it's the Leominster VSO, Mr. Rick Vatour, who's taking the lead on this.
Kudos to him. Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. We'll combine efforts with that VSO and develop this town hall. At the last town hall, we had up to 350 visitors.
Wow. Wow. So, and I know that some months ago we had a Worcester Town Hall, and almost 200 veterans came out to that. It's an opportunity for, like you said, for them to speak to VA leadership, but also to get enrolled in healthcare if they've never sought that healthcare. So, quick question for the veterans out there who want to know the details and want to know specific information. What are good places to send them for that information?
Well, you can come to a couple of different places. We have a Facebook page that's very active. It's VACW Mass, or you can come to the centralwesternmass.gov webpage.
Okay, and just to repeat that, and we'll make sure that we visually display that information. If you go to Facebook and you type in VACW Mass, you said, how about if you were to search VA Central Western Mass? Perhaps that would be a way to queue it up as well in Facebook. And then also there's the Central Western Massachusetts.gov, or is it centralwesternmass.gov?
If you put in centralwesternmass.gov, you will get to the website.
Okay, great. So we have it saved up in different ways. So by all means, please visit those social media platforms. Please visit the intranet site. The dates and the details about these upcoming events will be there. And I want to thank you, Mr. Ramstein, for coming and talking about your job as an outreach lead, as well as your history in the military.
I appreciate you having me, Andre.
Thank you for watching another episode of VA Voices.
Hi, my name is Zach McAllister, and I'm just here to share a few details on the relaunch of the Get One Now peer referral program for you. The Get One Now program is the program that reservists can use to refer someone for the Air Force Reserve who's not currently enlisted or who might be in prior service. And there's a few new items attached to the relaunch of the program that we just want to make everyone aware of. Firstly, in the past, the Get One Now program was awarding reservists who gave leads into the program who assessed to the Air Force Reserve. One of the new items is with the relaunch of the program, we're now awarding reservists who simply give leads that are qualified into the program. So you can get an award now for one qualified lead, and it's one award for one qualified lead, and you can get up to 4 awards per FY, so 4 awards per year. Everything is done now through an app that you can use on your cell phone. It's the Get One Now app. All you need to do is go to either the Google Play Store or the Android or the iPhone iOS store. Open up that app and type in Get One Now. The app will pop right up, and once you download it, you can register there on the app. You can submit leads using the app. You can track the status of those leads as well as pick and order awards right there from the app. We've done everything we can to make it as simple as possible. You'll see a bunch of different prize options right there in the app that you can choose from. We want everyone to be aware that this program is available to them because you can get an award for referring someone. The person that you refer gets all the benefits of the Air Force Reserve if they end up joining, as well as the Air Force Reserve as a whole benefits from the people that you know would be a good fit for the Air Force Reserve. So go to the Android or iOS store, download this app. You can also use the desktop version to engage in the program. The website for that is getonenow.us. So please go register for an account. If you know someone now who you know would be a good fit for the Air Force Reserve, please use this program to refer them. If not, just register, get the app on your phone because you never know when you might come across someone that would be a good fit for us here, and we want everyone to be ready for that. So thank you for engaging in the program, and visit getonenow.us for any more info that you might need. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Airmen with the 439th Security Forces Squadron hosted a shooting competition at the Westover Firing Range May 18th, with police officers spanning from departments in the Boston area to Connecticut. According to Senior Master Sergeant Randy Bates, the competition raised money for the family of Tech Sergeant Matthew Daigle, a Security Forces Squadron airman and a Massachusetts State Trooper who passed away suddenly earlier this year. Some of the competing officers were also members of the 439th SFS. They included Chief Master Sergeant Michael Grady and Senior Master Sergeant Anthony Giardini. Bates, who was on the verge of retirement during one of his last days at the firing range, said the competition was a good way for him to wrap up his 32-year career in the military. "This is about helping Matt's family," he said. "This is my second year arranging this tournament. What happened to Matt was so sudden. I'm glad I could be part of this event before my retirement." The goal of the competition was to raise $2,000 for the Daigle family. Shooting competition awards rundown includes team awards for first place, Connecticut Department of Corrections, second place, Massachusetts Environmental Police, and third place, 439th SFS.
Well, good morning. I'm Master Sergeant Andrew Biscoe here out on the historic flight line of Westover, and today we're witnessing history on this historic flight line. One of only 2 remaining A models that was in the original inventory back in 1987 here. Serial number 690020, which, according to the crew chiefs that we spoke with, does not have a nickname. But 020 is getting ready to leave here today for its long and final flight to the Boneyard at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona. It will join thousands of airplanes there for good as it lands. Its final landing in the desert of Tucson, Arizona. This morning we're witnessing a historic moment also because it is the oldest C5 left in the entire Air Force inventory. 48 years old. And according to our maintenance friends, it has accrued 21,775 flight hours. That's a lot of time in service to our country. Thousands of landings, including 5,454 full-stop landings. That's a lot of wear and tear on an old bird. As we see these A models go away, with their trademark sound that we've heard, that people around Westover have heard for 30 years, it will be going away, but what will be coming in is the future. The C5M Super Galaxy, of which out here on the ramp today there are 4 actually. Not assigned to us yet, but one of which is being used to fly around the local area with our crews aboard it. It's a Travis Air Force Base C5M. Ironically, of course, it was here at Westover at one time as a C5B model. It's 840060, and it's back here as an M model from the 60th Airlift Wing, the 60th Air Mobility Wing at Travis Air Force Base, California. The 60th is also joined by an associate unit there, the 349th Air Mobility Wing. So what we see today here is 69020 going off for her last flight to Tucson, Arizona. And we see, of course, the M models slowly taking over. And once June arrives, we should, according to what we're hearing from our maintenance friends and Lockheed Martin, we should be getting our first M model Super Galaxy to usher in yet another aviation milestone here at Westover.
All right, and we understand that this is one of the last 2 original C5s that were here when they got here 30 years ago.
Correct.
And how many years have you worked on this one?
I started working on this back in 2003 when we had it.
2003?
Correct. And then when it went away and then I had my choice, I picked this one when it came back for the final crew chief of it.
Now, does this one have a nickname? I know 448 is called, they call it 448. Is this one called Good and Plenty 20 or anything? Or
no.
Just 20?
Just 20.
So it's been a good performer though, I understand.
Yes. I had no issues launching this. And it figures the last day we were launching it, I have the first issue ever.
Really?
Yes. So we're having a bleed duct taut. So once we get that done, and hopefully it'll go.
And are you going to go down there with them, or are you going to stay here?
I'm going to stay here.
And this is, I understand this is one of our crews taking it down there?
Correct. So we had a crew go the first time to train the people down there to work on it, to ground handle it. So now on, I don't think we're going to be sending maintenance with it.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention about this plane besides the fact that I know you're going to miss it, right?
Correct. So I'm just getting ready because I'll get the first M model when it comes back.
So you look at this as kind of a good change?
Yeah, but it's sad to see this one go. So this is, so far I've seen all the A models go from here. It's kind of sad, but miss them.
But those M models are coming pretty soon?
Yes, I believe we should get our first one in June.
Yeah, there's just a lot of history. They're exciting to fly. You never really know what's going to go on, you know. So, like today, we can't foresee anything, can't really plan for anything.
Do you take it in stride?
Yes, I do.
I think part of being a C5 crew member is when you're flying the biggest plane in the military, you have to have a big supply of patience too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just sit here and, you know, if you have a good attitude, day's not going to be bad.
Is there any particular thoughts going to be running through your mind as you guys are flying this thing for the last time to Arizona?
I think what I'll be thinking about is just the history of what this plane went through, all the different places it's probably seen, and I'm just happy I get to be part of its last flight.
Anything else you wanted to add about today's flight?
No, I'm just, you know, a little humbled by the experience that we get to do this. So I'm going to enjoy the day and, you know, take care of it as best we can.
Kind of on this one.
Yeah.
But I've been like assisting with this for, you know, a bit here and there.
You gonna miss this plane?
A little bit.
A little bit.
The A models have a lot more problems, so there's like good and bad, you know, there's familiarity, so
yeah,
just expect the unexpected, but I'm not gonna be too sad of it.
Are you looking forward to the M models?
Yeah, I'm just excited for the new challenge and, you know, just learning how all the new operating systems are and stuff.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a lot more efficient, so we might have shorter ground times or longer days, you know, when you're going on missions and stuff like that.
Well, I saw one flying around yesterday. It sure is impressive to watch it lift up into the air and get up so quick.
Yeah, for sure. The thrust is a lot more powerful than these engines, so definitely makes it for a, you know, faster flight.
How long have you worked on C5s?
About 8 years now.
8 years?
Yep. I've been an art here for about 6 years.
Welcome to another version of Westover Looks Back. I'm Master Sergeant Andrew Biscoe from the 8th floor of the Westover Control Tower, one of the tallest points in Hampden County here in western Massachusetts. Department of Defense air controllers man this control tower, which oversees all air traffic within about 6 miles of Westover. Just outside of Westover, air controllers with the Federal Aviation Administration oversee the traffic landing and departing this area from Westover. Mostly the air traffic, of course, is our C-5s from the 439th Airlift Wing, but we also have F-15 fighter jets here from Barnes Municipal Airport, which are temporarily housed here while the runway there gets fixed. Other air traffic you see that these controllers manage include KC-10 and KC-135 tankers. As of today, a C-5M Super Galaxy from Dover Air Force Base, Delaware, that is part of our operational future here at Westover. UH-60 Blackhawks from Barnes, and a various plethora of other civilian and military airplanes. Almost too long to name, but many civilian types that use Westover Metropolitan Airport, located on the southwest side of the field. Our control towers have an interesting history here at Westover. They're right smack dab in the middle of the giant airfield that Westover has always been known for. But this tower that we're on now is actually the third of 3. The first one was built right behind me here on top of the base hangar in 1940. You can't see where it is now, but I can motion to it. Right where the letters say base hangar is where the first Westover control tower was built. And it was in operation from 1940 until 1962. And in 1962, Strategic Air Command was very mindful of the fact that the airfield had gotten a lot bigger. So they built a control tower just near where this tower was built, which had visibility with the air controllers all over the airfield, being able to see all the maintenance areas where the B-52s were worked on and the tankers, and all the area over behind me on the north ramp, which back then, Strategic Air Command had so many assets here, their airplanes were spread about all over the base here as far as the eye can see behind me. That tower remained in operation from 1962 until 2002, when it met an untimely end, if you will. In July of that year, of 2002, a demolition crew came out here and pulled the old structure right down. Pulled her down to the ground, and one of the pictures taken by the public affairs staff by Nicole Lassard made it into Citizen Airman magazine because of its unusual nature. They pulled the tower down in one piece. It eventually collapsed into 2 and was taken all apart and taken off the airfield. Today's air traffic control tower here, in operation now 10 years and built at a cost of about $4 million, has become the stellar attraction for VIPs here at the base. VIPs from generals to senators to congressmen, they come up here and they can see the entire base like no other location on this base. It's staffed by Department of Defense controllers, not a 24-hour operation here like when we had Strategic Air Command, but from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. at night. These air controllers have wide responsibilities, including monitoring all ground traffic, including vehicular and airplanes, to air traffic coming into Westover from about 6 miles out into the airport area. Just outside of that 6-mile radius, all air traffic is handed off to Bradley International Airport with the Federal Aviation Administration. Yeah, for tours and photographers, for public affairs types, this is a place where we like to go, where we like to take our guests, because this is 123 feet high up here. The vantage spot of the base to see just about everywhere. In fact, on a clear day, the air controllers tell me you can see all the way to New Hampshire and see some of the mountains up there. Today behind me you can see the C-5s parked on the main operational ramp. As we're 123 feet up in the air, that's translated to about 10 stories. And that includes an elevator. The old control tower did not have an elevator. The old control tower's restroom was also at the bottom of the structure.
This new control tower has the elevator that goes right to the top, to the 9th floor, with one set of stairs to get to the cab, and the bathrooms on the 9th floor for our air controllers.
From the top of the Westover control tower, this is another look back at Westover from Master Sergeant Andrew Biscoe.
Say again, unreadable.
That's a nice shot right
Get
there.
there, went over around into the dragon. I feel it.
Yeah.